Okay, should we get started then, guys? Sounds good. So you're at the right session if you teach FSL or EL. Presenting with me today is Teresa Lopatron and Steph Wood. They are our ELL teachers, and we are collaborating on these sessions because our students' needs are very similar. Although we're teaching different languages, the needs are the same and the strategies we use with our students are the same. So at any point, ELL, Core French, FI, doesn't matter, speak out and one of us will try our best to address your questions, as well as we encourage our participants to unmute your mic and join in the conversation. So we will start with our territorial acknowledgement.
And we're not hearing that. It might be playing on your computer, but there's that little, when you hit share screen, you have to toggle that little play computer audio button. So if you just hit stop sharing for a second, and then hit the share screen button again. And before selecting the presentation, there's a little tick box in the bottom left-hand corner. Share computer audio. That's right. Yeah, and then you can share it. No worries. All good.
Let's do that again.
We acknowledge that the land on which we are gathered is part of the traditional territory of the Chippewa, Odawa, Potawatomi, and Delaware nations. These indigenous nations, known as the Anishinaabeg and Lenape, agreed through their ancestral languages to the mutual sharing of the land, with obligations and responsibilities to the environment. Today, these responsibilities and obligations extend to all peoples.
Okay, so we just wanted to follow up on something that came up last week. There seemed to be quite a bit of interest around it, lots of questions, and that was about using audio within Google Slides. So Teresa has been working hard at it this week, trying to figure out the best way for us to do that. So Teresa, I'm going to stop sharing and let you take it away from here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I am new to using the computer. I'm used to my iPad, so I figured it out on my Dell. So I'm going to share the screen here. So if we go into, oops, sorry, I'm going to find this slide. I want to put it onto our slide. Okay. So there is an icon right here at the top, if you can see. It's called Screencastify, and it is a Google extension. So I've already downloaded that. Once it appears, it will be on the right hand of your screen. So when you're ready to use it, you press it. So now, just making sure that your microphone is on here. I've chosen desktop, and I'm going to start recording. When I press record, it's going to count me down, so you have some time. So this is the slide I want to use. So you have to pick. You could use your entire screen or application windows that are open. I'm going to do entire screen. So I'm going to pick that, and I'm going to share. Countdown will begin. Hi, everyone. Here's a test. We're just testing out how to add audio onto Google Slides. Here's the stop button. Now it brings you up to your actual audio. Once you get here, it always mutes you. So that's right here. But before we get started, I'm just going to rename it FSL ELL. And now I'm going to unmute it. Hi everyone, here's a test. We're just testing out how to add audio onto Google Slides. So see how it stops right there? I'm going to cut that onto Google Slides because I don't need all the dead air there. Now I'm going to save trim. Now the cool part about this is that it automatically downloads to your Google Drive. So that is probably the best part, I think. Hi everyone, here's a test. We're just testing out how to add audio onto Google Slides. Don't need to hear that again. Hi everyone, here's a... Okay. Now, I'm going to press download here. and I'm going to export audio only. So now that's available. I go back to the Google slide that I want to insert it into, press insert, audio, and just to double, I named it so I know it's this one, but you can go to your recent as well and it should pop up. Select, and it puts it right there. So it's all ready to go. Hi everyone. So there you go. That's how you do it.
Awesome. So let's take a second. If there's some questions out there for Teresa around how to use it, if there's something you need clarified, or perhaps you have an idea you want to share around using it. Steph, you're going to continue to monitor our chat for us and things come up there.
I would like to say I have, we do have Google Slides. We have 2 slide presentations, one how to download Screencastify and one how to do that. So if you need that, please let us know. We can send that to you as well. You're welcome.
Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, let's continue on. Okay, so we just want to talk a little bit about action-oriented tasks today, and more specifically about using authentic situations, or realia, as our ELL friends call it. This is something new for me, that term, but I think the essence of it is the same. We're talking about the same idea, and that as language teachers, we're always trying to create situations within the classroom, often through role play, that our students could find themselves in real life. Because what we discover is that our students become very proficient with classroom language, and but then struggle to use it in an authentic context outside of the classroom. So by role playing authentic situations, we try to bring that into the classroom. What we're finding ourselves in right now is a really unique situation where they're living the authentic situation. So we don't have to fabricate it. It's happening every day for them. So we invited Corey today to come talk to us about an activity she has done with her students. And I thought it really fit well with our situation right now, with living at home, we're learning from home, and using our environment around us to teach authentic language. So Corey is going to take us on a little tour of Tour Creator. And I am going to stop sharing, Corey, so that you can take it away.
All right, can everybody hear me? Okay, I think we are good. I can't see the chat anymore. So someone,
We will monitor. Yeah, we'll take care of that for you.
Okay, so thanks for inviting me to talk about Tour Creator. I mentioned it last week under Google Expeditions, but when everything has changed. So if you were to Google Expeditions and how to create a tour, nothing really would come up and you'd be frustrated. So I'm going to, I should probably should have shared.
I'm in a meeting.
Can I get to the chat from here? I had a link to share.
Yeah, you'll have to move your mouse around at the top of the screen. Now that you're sharing, the menu is moved to the top of the screen for you, and chat should be up there.
Oh, there it is. So I'm hoping if you click on the link that I just shared, a Google document will pop up for you to look at another time. So on that Google document, you'll see the Poly website to browse already created tours. So this is all on a desktop, so I'm just going to bring you to that website. And I brought you here just to show you a large variety of subjects that you can peruse. The one that you're probably going to want to look at are the tours. Okay, so in the tours, you can search anything. I am going to just bring you to one of my favorite tours of Paris. Of course, I did this with my students back in May, June. It was a great time to explore. So you have this link and you can take your mouse and drag around. You have a 3D view of Paris, and there's different scenes. So when you go to create your own, I'll show you how to create scenes. And what I like, there's these little information pods. And when you click on the information pod, you get a lot of information. So how can you use this aspect with students? I know Jane Marvel, what she's doing, she's bringing her students through a field trip. They're going 2 places today. But you can ask questions. Maybe you want to attach a Google form with some multiple choice questions. To bring in that culture, do a listening task where you're asking questions and they have to choose a multiple choice. So that's one of my favorite tours out there. Now, to create your own tours, you have to go to Creator, and I'm going to show you an example of something that I created. I was just messing around with it last spring. So here's an invitation into my home. So I used my cell phone and I downloaded the app Cardboard Camera. And it gave me a VR picture. And I uploaded it into Tour Creator. And you see I have a couple scenes with little pods. I wrote, Je travaille souvent ici. So I just gave a little tour. You see my cat and my husband. Just something very simple. And what I had my students do is they created their own tour with places they wanted to go. And guess what they all searched? Their own house. So everyone created a
Corey appears frozen at my end. Is it the same for others? Oh. Uh-oh. I'm the one frozen. Hey guys.
video on this one. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I don't know if you were able to hear that or not. But just have voice reading. J'aime regarder Netflix. I only recorded audio for this one just for the demonstration purpose. But you can add ambient sound to make it like you're in that environment. If you were on an iPhone, you can actually use one of those Google Cardboards and make it in 3D. But for now, in our current situation, I think students are mostly just working on laptops, Chromebooks, or iPads, any device.
That's great, Corey. Thank you. Are there questions out there for Corey? So we were talking about how like using the situation they're in right now, right, to build that vocabulary in an authentic way. So the example that Corey gave of her house is a perfect example of how she can use the environment that the kids are in. So this is one option for it, which involves a little bit more technology, familiarity, and playing around. But I'm thinking there's other ways that we could do a home tour without, if you're not comfortable, if you don't want to go down this road right away, other ways the kids could do a home tour. So I'd like, just off the top of my head, it could just be a video and audio recording of it. They could take a picture and do labels. Steph, do you want to talk a bit about how to do that?
Sorry, it was in the chat.
Sorry.
So there's a couple of ways that you can do that. The ELL Brain Pop in the teacher resources section has some really fun photos that you can use to help your students talk about a scene or a situation. So you can use those. You can obviously use real pictures, which is wonderful. Your students can take pictures and label things. I mentioned briefly last week, they could find 5 objects at home. They don't know what the word is for it in English. Find the word in English and then talk about it. They could do this in French as well. And then if they wanted to, they could make a video of them pretending to use the object. Say it's a whisk, and we use a whisk to stir. They might use gestures. They might use single words. They might use complete phrases. It really depends on what the language is that they're working with. And then also in Seesaw, there are a number of activities that are available from the library that teachers can access and assign that are labeling activities. So the vocabulary is already there and the picture is there, and they are able to manipulate the labels in order to label the correct object or part of something. And then also that gives them the opportunity to use those labels in a sentence. So then they could talk about the picture using the vocabulary that is provided for them for those tasks.
So Steph, when you're talking about the Seesaw activities, those are obviously for our English language learners, but those activities can be copied, correct? And easily edited with the French vocabulary. Am I right?
And yes, that's correct. And some of them are around science topics, so it's not necessarily just language and concrete objects. They are linked to other subjects as well. So yes, right. And you can take those and edit them and make them your own, or create your own based on the ones that you see there.
That's great. Okay, so keeping in mind the idea of the environment our students are living right now, we'd like to give you the opportunity to meet with teachers of the same program as you. Now, just before we do that, I want to give everyone, in case there was anyone late to arrive or was a little hesitant, in order to participate in a breakout room, we would need you to change your participant name. So maybe it's easier if I just quickly go back to that slide. So in case you missed it, this will be, so what Rod in the background will be placing you in the appropriate group, depending on what you teach, ELL, core, French immersion primary, or junior intermediate French immersion. This is optional, so if you really don't feel like going into a breakout room, that's okay too. You can just wait for us to come back. We'll be gone for 5 minutes. And so by changing your name, you will indicate which breakout room you would like to go to. So Rod, do you want to walk us through what's going to happen, or would you like us to do that?
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I was speaking while I was muted.
Oh, that's okay. We thought you left us.
Oh, I did leave you. I had a complete internet meltdown here.
Oh.
And I missed part of a tour. I made it back in time. I've regrouped the groups, and pretty much all but a few people have adjusted their names, so we're all good. Anyway, if you're on an iPad, this is kind of the screen that you'll see when you're in this room or other rooms. And if you tap on the screen, you'll see a menu will drop down from the top, and that's where you can access your audio settings. So make sure that your microphone is turned on or your camera is turned on. A couple of things you might want to pay attention to on the left-hand side, that little icon, I call that Brady Bunch view. If you click that, all of the people in the meeting will show up in a grid, so you can see everyone as the conversation is going and bouncing around. And in that breakout room, if something goes crazy, isn't working correctly, if you hit the Ask for Help button, what that'll do is bring me to your room. For those of you on a PC or Macintosh computer, a regular workstation, this is where your menu is usually at the bottom of the screen, and the audio and video. So if you're controlling microphone or your camera, it's in the lower left. If for some reason people can't hear you, I would suggest hitting that little up arrow next to the microphone, and you can go in and customize your audio settings, make sure the right microphone is selected. And it's in the upper right-hand corner that you'll find that gallery view. So what'll happen is in a minute, I'll click a Go to Your Rooms button. It'll send you to the rooms that you've self-chosen based on your name. I've shuffled you into a specific room, and you'll see a little gray box. It'll say you're moving to a breakout room, and it'll have the name of the breakout room you're going to. It may take a few seconds for you to get there. Don't panic. You're just sort of in transit in the hallway from one place to another. If for some reason you don't get put in the room, sometimes we're moving a lot of pixels, audio, video, and there's some 30 some odd people in here that are moving to different places. So it's possible that you won't get to the right spot. If that's the case, just re-enter the room. You'll be here with me in this main room. We can either have our own private discussion, or I can manually send you to the room of your choice. So those of you that were late, sort of choosing which room you want to go to, we can do that manually. I think that explains it. Are we good to go? You let me know.
I think so. So we'll be 5 minutes we're going to do in the room. And it's just an opportunity for you guys to discuss how can we use the environment our students are learning in right now to further their language skills. So thinking authentically, how can we use language in the home environment?
Okay.
Any questions before we go? Okay. Take it away, Rod.
5 or 6 minutes. Okay. So Irma and Teresa, you had kind of a small room there. When you came back into this room, you're muted, so you might have to hit your microphone to talk. Hi, Irma. Nice to see you, Irma.
Yeah.
So Teresa, the one of the groups was really big, and there with so many people in that one area, it might be great to break them even to smaller groups. Welcome back, everybody. Just to let you know, when you come back into this main room, you come back muted. So if you want to speak, you have to unlock your microphone. Look at all the people.
Awesome. We made it. Everyone made it back?
We have 37 people here. I think there were
there
were 38. I think there was one person that left.
Okay.
Not bad.
And that's why we do want to make it optional, because we know not everyone wants to participate that actively. So we're all here for different reasons, and different days we're feeling into different places, but that's fine. So the breakout groups will be optional.
Thanks, Corey. We like it too. She's just said she likes the breakout room.
Cool. Okay, so we just thought we'd take a minute or two, or as long as we want, just to share back to the big group some of the stuff you guys were talking about in your breakout room. If there's someone that's willing to speak on behalf of your room, that would be great.
Kate in the chat. Oh, there's the chat. So Kate's just saying she picked up some good ideas. Danielle, I like it, but felt we needed more time. Yeah, we just wanted to test it out today. We didn't want to leave you in there too long and then lose some people.
So in our group, Corey shared about how she's using Kahoots with like divisionally, and the students have the opportunity to use the Kahoot throughout the week. And then the top 5 are posted at the beginning of the following week so that students can see who had the highest scores, which was super fun. And that Kahoot Premium is currently free, which means you can have up to, Corey, correct me if I'm wrong, sorry, 2,000 participants? 200.
2,000.
Wow.
Which is a really fun idea. You could have, you know, whole divisions competing with each other.
Nobody wants to share. Crickets.
We were talking, I can talk on behalf of the junior intermediate room. We were talking about using cooking skills to bring out their French. So it was the junior intermediate French immersion, so their language level is quite proficient by that point. To find a recipe, so either the teacher could provide the recipe or the students can find their own recipe in French and obviously try to make something with it, or they could create a video tutorial of them cooking or baking something all in French. So again, we're bringing in authentic vocabulary that not often we find ourselves using in the classroom when it comes to baking and cooking terminology or ingredients, that sort of thing. So here's an opportunity to do that in an authentic way.
And then you can also bring in the math piece, right? For your older students, you may be talking about fractions and mixed fractions or improper fractions. And then as well, you can also, with your younger students, work on the measuring skills. So cooking, we've got language, we've got math, we've got connecting with our family, and then the importance of food and culture is just also really important, right?
Yeah.
In my school, I teach arts and French. I only have a grade 1-2 French class, and I also teach health in that class. So I've done. We've been talking about food, obviously, in health and healthy foods, and then I've also been doing that in French. So I've had them come up with just a smoothie recipe to share, and then they get in the kitchen and they're using all their healthy fruits and what they want in their smoothie, and they just do a little video. And I've just kept it really basic. J'aime des ananas dans mon smoothie. J'aime, and really like it. So it's hard coming up with primary ideas for French. So if anybody has any, that'd be great.
Put it out there to the group. This is the power of getting together, right? For those ideas.
I know with my daughter's class, she's FDK, they have them go outside with chalk and then just write words in chalk, or if it's like matching colors. So they would get them to put, let's say, green and let's say gray, and they put anything green in the green box. Like, I don't know, just thinking of other ways of trying to bring the outside in. So they use chalk a lot. I mean, they had them with their sight words to go outside and use the chalk to write all over the place too. So I was just thinking maybe for, like, they could write on a rock and write it in French, or whatever language for our ELLs, you would do it in English. So just, I don't know, some way to bring the outside, get them outside and get them out there, I guess.
I've seen them also, if they're going for a walk with their family, using like found objects, leaves, sticks, stones to leave single words for people to find. Like sometimes you see those painted rocks, but they could also write words with leaves or write words with like little stones on the sidewalk, right? And then we're working on those fine motor skills, we're putting letters together, and then also giving somebody else the opportunity to see their message.
Yeah.
Can I just share one more thing?
Of course.
I put that Flora website, the website from New Brunswick, out to my grade 3s. And I said, check out this website. Let me know what you liked about it and how far you got. And I expected answers in English. They were just core French grade 3s. But at least it got them on the website, and they all said they loved the website with the games and the songs, and they were able to repeat. So that's a really good website to send out for the primaries. I agree, the primary core French, it's very difficult to come up with things for them. I've been doing just a lot of, from my website, the matching games. I put a Kahoot out to them just on colors, numbers to 10 or 20, and emotions, because we had played those before. And my latest thing I did was to learn body parts. I put a body part song, and they had to cut out little pieces of paper and literally stick them on their bodies, and they had to take a picture. So I had these pictures of kids with things stuck on there. There's only 6 body parts I had, like ear, eyes, nose, mouth, feet, and hand. But yeah, they're just putting things on their bodies, and they were pretty funny to watch.
Something that Janet Vanos did, I think she left the meeting, but I could share it on her behalf. It was really cool because she teaches my son. So she posted a link to a 5-minute Tupi and Binu video where I think it's called La Récréation. And it was really good. And then he had to match vocabulary words afterwards. And then I used it to send to my 4s and 5s, but I asked them a couple, like I think I sent 4 questions to go along with the video. It was good because Tupi repeats himself over and over, so they had lots of chances to hear the words that we wanted them to hear. It was good.
Angela, you're muted.
Thank you. So I was just commenting that Steph did put the website, the Flora website, in the chat box. We showed it a little bit last week. Definitely a primary resource, whether that be FI or core. I think you find your spot in there, and it does progress through the levels.
I had one other thing. I don't know if you guys heard. I think my mic was muted. That Janet Vanoss did that was super cool. She showed a Tupi and Binu video. It was sent it to the kids for the primaries. It was really good because it was so repetitive. And then she had a matching activity on Seesaw that they had to do with the vocabulary after that. It was super cute.
Which was the video again? Sorry, I missed.
It was the Tupi and Binu.
Yep.
The one she did was La Récréation.
Thank you.
But I imagine they have other ones that would be equally good. But it was a really neat activity. I thought it was really good. It wasn't my idea though. It was Janet that did that.
Did she share the Seesaw activity with the whole district? Would other teachers be able to access it?
I have no idea. I don't know. All she did was, I don't know how, I don't use Seesaw much because I'm junior intermediate, but they just had to drag words over to a picture of I don't know, le bricolage, la récréation, l'autobus. Like it was just a little thing to see if they were paying attention.
Does anybody know if there's a way to get the activities out of Seesaw and our activity part of Seesaw into like a Google Classroom? Like, because I use Google Classroom with my 4 to 8s, but Seesaw with my 1s to 3. And I find some of those activities in there. I could use them for my grade 4s and 5s, but I don't know if there's an easy way to do that.
Could you create a Seesaw classroom and then share it in your Google Classroom so that they could also be a part of the Seesaw classroom?
Okay, I'm a co-teacher in the Seesaw classrooms for the grade 1s, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3.
Okay.
And then, then I have my own Google Classrooms for the other ones. I just want to know if there's an easy way, like maybe somebody found out, like, no, okay, thanks, Steph.
I don't think so, Lisa.
They don't play nice. It's one is Google and one is Seesaw, and they don't mash very well.
Okay. Thanks.
You could always have your own classroom in Seesaw that you could just create. That, I mean, it's not ideal, but.
Yeah. Just thought, thank you.
Lisa, I have a classroom connected to the classroom, like the home teacher's room, and it's so easy to connect, and then you just post on their classroom, and then you put your activities in that. I don't know if you've done that.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Helen, your classroom is connected to their classroom, is that what you said?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. But there's no way, because I have Google Classroom. I just want to know if I could grab some of those activities that I created in Seesaw and pull them over to my, yeah. Okay.
Well, you know what? I'll look into it. I don't think so, but I'm going to check it out for you.
Okay, I just thought if somebody say, oh yeah, just, copy paste this link over here and click, click, click. No, okay, thanks.
And that is the challenge as the curriculum partners you guys have, right? Is that you are dealing with multiple platforms because of the multiple classes. So it's an additional challenge for sure for you.
Lisa, there is a, you can, and I don't know if it's just for the posts or if you can get the whole activity, but you can share links from Seesaw. So just have a look. I've done it before between the classrooms. But...
Thank you.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end of our time. And Steph or Teresa, are you guys able to just check over the chat, make sure we didn't miss anything?
Just looking at it now. I just reacted.
Angela, can I share something?
Yeah.
I just think so many people were so brave in sharing their cameras today that I thought I could show you a little something that might be fun for you to play with in another meeting.
Okay.
Next to the video camera icon, there's a little up arrow, and if you click that, one of the options you have is, depending on your computer might not be able to handle it, but if your computer can handle it, you can choose a virtual background, and that allows you to sort of eliminate laundry and running around things behind you, and put yourself in maybe a more serene meeting space, or a more comical meeting space, or a more fun spot. If you hit that virtual background, you can sort of, some computers need a green screen, some don't. Sometimes you can just throw a funky image behind you, but if you're interested in playing with that, I'll just point that out to you. Again, It's under the camera, and then choose virtual background.
I've got some chips from Torchy's.
You're in a bag of chips. Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
Well, let's see. Where do I want to go?
Oh.
That's fun. Thanks, Rod.
I wonder if we could just get Jane to mention again about her field trips.
Yeah,
just because everybody's here now. It just sounded super fun.
Okay, well, it was just after the last meet last week. I messaged Corey and I said, how do I do this? Because my meet's from 1 till 2, so I had a very short time to throw something together. So we ended up going to Paris and had a quick overview of the city, and then we did a more extensive 360 YouTube tour through the Eiffel Tower. And the grade 6s were just floored. They thought that was the most amazing ever. And now they're all super excited. The grade 7s are too, even though they're way cooler. So they're really excited about Field Trip Friday. So from now until June, we're going to be every Friday. We're going to decide where to go. So the grade 6s today have chosen Madagascar, and the grade 7s have chosen Haiti. And I already went in earlier in the week, and I put together a series of links from that polygoogle.com website of pre-made. And I had to select some of them because some of them are just made by kids that they did as projects. And so like one of them was just, here's the McDonald's in the city that they were in, and here's the Burger King, and here's the Primark, and it wasn't really very good. So you have to be very selective and I think pre-prepare them. But I love the information, but
fun for the kids. That's awesome.
Okay.
There was something. Sorry, there's something in the chat from is it Alice? I just lost it now. Allison, about a Google Classroom question. Does she wanna? Do you want to say it out loud again? Sorry, it's long.
Elena just described a way to connect from her Google Classroom to the classroom teacher's Google Classroom. I was kind of curious to know how that worked for her and how she did that. If that makes sense.
Sorry, that was for Seesaw.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, if that's it, is that it, Teresa?
That's all I see right now, unless I'm missing a question. It's hard to go through the feed. So if you had a question and you don't mind speaking up, we don't mind for us to answer it or look into anything for you for the next week. So it's a good time to speak up right now. Sorry, my kids are, you can probably hear them. I'm gonna mute myself now.
All right, so we're just gonna put that bit.ly up there again. We do appreciate any sort of feedback about what's working for you during these sessions and what you would like to see in future weeks. We try to be responsive to them to the best we can. Likewise, if you have something that you'd like to share, we are always looking for people who'd be willing to just drop us an email, and we can figure out a time that'll work for everybody. And there is the list of all of the sessions that happen throughout the week for the different juniors. for the different divisions, sorry. So check those out as well. And that is it. So thank you for coming. Thanks for joining us today. It was good to see everyone.